Hello and welcome to this video from the Newham Sensory Service, the hearing support team. So in this video we're going to be talking about the Phonak Inspiro. This is a version of an additional listening device. So we're going to just run through the basic use and some very simple troubleshooting ideas. So we have the device itself with its clip. So this is so that you can attach it to your lanyard or your shirt or top. So please do be aware that it needs to be facing screen out. So the first thing would be that we need to turn it on. So we have this slider at the top. So we're going to slide that across so we have the green, so we can see that that's turning on by the display screen. So we're going to wait for that to start up. So we've got that ready and going, it's on. We also have the microphone that is attached via a lead. Now this is so that you can clip this onto maybe your belt or somewhere, put it in your pocket depending on the lead length. And this actual microphone needs to be clipped a handspan from your mouth. So if you put your thumb on your bottom lip, where your little finger lands, that's where this should be clipped, and we can clip it on as such. Oh, yep, perfect. So we want the microphone facing up towards our mouth. So we don't want it too close because then the person can hear you breathing, and we don't want it too far because then it loses some of that effectiveness that it has. So what does this device do? So when it's connected up to your learner's hearing aids or other device that they are using, their listening device, it will allow them to hear you in a much clearer fashion and a louder fashion, because they're going to hear you directly to their device. It's going to travel to their receiver, which I'm going to show you in a minute, and that will mean that it's not losing or being distorted through travelling through the air as it would normally travel, that sound. So it just means they're having a better listening experience. Also, it also cuts down on some of that background noise that they might be experiencing in the classroom. So I'm going to unclip that for now. I'm going to talk about some of the other elements that we need for this to work. So we have our hearing aid as an example. It might be a different listening device, but for this example I'm going to use a hearing aid. It will have a shoe, an audio shoe, attached to the bottom. This may be part of the battery compartment and built in, or it may be like this where it's an additional part that would slide onto the bottom of the hearing aid. And then we also have this receiver which has 3 prongs, and you might notice that on the bottom of the audio shoe there are 3 holes. They are differing in size because the prongs are different in size, so we want to make sure we match up the larger width prong with the larger hole on the audio shoe. So when we attach them, we need to hear a clip, and we need to make sure that we can see that it's sitting flush with each other and there isn't a gap. If there's a gap, it's not going to connect. So we do need to make sure it is connected flush with the other part of the device. So this will also then slide on to the hearing aid. Again, it needs to be flush. If it isn't slid on and flush, again you might have issues with connecting. So once it's all connected, how do we connect this device to the actual hearing aid now? So let's imagine this is being worn by your learner and it's all connected up. So we have our device that is on, our Inspiro. We need to see there is a button here and there's a word connect above it. So we're just going to have them very near each other within a few centimetres, and we're going to press that connect button. And then the screen will say that it's connecting, and then it will say whether it has connected or it has not. In this case it hasn't because it's not actually attached to the hearing aid, but it will be set up by your qualified teacher of the deaf or the technician, so that shouldn't be an issue. If it's connected, then we need to wear it in the position already shown. And we need to make sure there's not anything rubbing on the microphone when we're wearing that, because that will be transmitted straight to the hearing aids and will be rather unpleasant for your learner. Once we have that connection, we might need to do that for both hearing aids if there are 2 devices, or other devices if there are 2. We need that same process of just pressing that button to connect really near the device. Now, in some circumstances, it might not connect, and what do we do then? So if we find that it's not connecting, we have several very simple troubleshooting steps that you can follow. Firstly, you can check that this audio shoe did actually slide onto your hearing aid and clip and is flush with it. That's a common problem where it hasn't quite clipped on. It could be a matter of a millimetre, but it really makes a lot of difference in whether it will connect or not. The next thing would be, again, you can make sure that your receiver has clipped in and is flush. And also you could just check it visually to see if there's any dirt or anything that might be obscuring that connection, and giving it a quick brush over if there is. Now, if those two things have happened and it's still not connecting, the next step would be, if you open the battery compartment, you can see you may have some spare batteries, or the learner themselves may have some, might be a different colour to these ones. But we need to take out a spare battery and we'll change the battery in the hearing aid or hearing device itself. So we're going to take off the sticky tab and we're going to leave it for 1 minute in the air before we put it inside our compartment. And once we've changed that battery over, we're going to do that process again. We're going to attach the audio shoe and make sure it's flush, and then we're going to try and connect again. Hopefully that one of those two troubleshooting ideas will mean that it does say that it has connected. If it doesn't connect still, this would be the point where you would contact the Newham Sensory Service. So you can contact your qualified teacher of the deaf, and either they will organise a visit as soon as possible or request that the technician for the service will come and do so. Now, we do have some other small accessories that go with this device. So you might notice there's an audio input hole at the bottom of the device. So this is for this lead that will also be in your kit when you get it. You can plug that in, and it's really great for using when you're using a laptop or a tablet with that learner and they need to listen to that audio. So it might be quite challenging for them to listen with headsets. So this might be just the thing that really supports them with that listening experience. And then also we have another charge port. So we have our charge cable. So we need to make sure that this device is charged daily at the end of each day. We also have a plug, so you can attach that with the USB to a computer, but I would suggest using the plug because it's a bit more efficient. So we need to pull back and then slide the front and the back and then release, and then we have our plug. Okay, and we have the USB end on that plug. Now, I would say that if you can, please promote the young person themselves to put this on charge at the end of every day, but it might be that they need some adult supervision to make sure that happens.